Bill Clinton was the 42nd President of the United States. His term started in 1993 and ended in 2001. His political career started when he ran for a seat in the House of Representatives against Republican. He lost, but it was a very close election. In 1976, he was elected State Attorney General in Arkansas. And finally, 2 years later, he ran for governor and won at the age of 32 years old. He was the youngest governor the United States has seen in 40 years. But as a governor, he was not impressive. He did not handle the Cuban riots correctly, and he raised auto license fees to pay for roads, which did not make the public happy. Then the next year, because of his mistakes, he lost to Frank Wright, an unknown politician. Clinton was shocked and started planning his re-election. To the public, he confronted his mistakes and used his charisma to win the next governor election. He then became the President of the United States in 1993, winning with 43% of the votes against George H.W. Bush.
Bill Clinton's main focuses when he first entered the office were unemployment, the deficit, health care, and welfare. However, some of these tasks were difficult to accomplish because of the divide between the Republican Congress and Democratic president. For unemployment, Clinton was able to get the rate down to 7.5%, a historically low rate. And for the deficit, Clinton lowered it from $290 billion in 1992 to $203 billion in 1994 by passing a bill that raised taxes on the wealthy and created spending cuts. He also succeeded in creating a budget surplus for the first time in nearly 30 years. For the health care reform, he placed his wife Hillary in charge of the program, but it was unsuccessful because it lacked public support in Congress's vote. For the welfare reform, Clinton shortened the time period that families could receive benefits and had each state run welfare, not the federal government.
Clinton intended to mainly focus on domestic policies and affairs rather than foreign affairs when taking office.
Not do everything or be everywhere, but where our values and our interests are at stake and where we can make a difference, we must be prepared to do so.
This policy is known as the Clinton Doctrine, which was Clinton's foreign policy. His main goals were to increase the number of free world markets, passing the NAFTA, which was the North American Free Trade Agreement, and creating the WTO, the World Trade Organization. While he hoped to focus on economic standing, he often got involved in more militarized interventions. While in office, Clinton had to deal with humanitarian problems and the rise of terrorism going on all around the world. In Somalia, Clinton increased the number of troops put in by George H.W. Bush to help protect supplies and food from warring powers for a nation of starvation and poverty after a civil war. However, after a push for withdrawal, after things have gotten too chaotic, including 2 Black Hawks being shot down, Clinton pulled all U.S. troops out, leaving a nation of anarchy by warlords which ruled for almost 15 years following. In Rwanda, a huge genocide was taking place where 800,000 Hutus were killed by the Tutsis. Unfortunately, Clinton relied on the United Nations Peacekeeping Corps, which ultimately failed. Our mere involvement in the Rwandan genocide is on the top of the list of Clinton's failures. In the Balkans, where there was an ethnic cleansing of the Muslims by the Serbs, Clinton created a NATO bombing campaign and created the Dayton Peace Accords, which outlined how to keep peace. Combined, these two things caused the Serbian leader to surrender and end the violence. Clinton also faced terrorism problems, which included the first bombing of the World Trade Center and the bombing of the USS Cole. The World Trade Center was bombed by foreign-funded Muslim terrorists, and Clinton dealt with them as criminals and punished them through the U.S. judicial system. The bombing of the USS Cole by al-Qaeda also did not prompt military actions and rather was dealt with through the U.S. judicial system, which was held Sudan liable. Clinton dealt with many more terrorist problems like the car bombings at embassies and other significant events during his presidency.
In Clinton's second inaugural address, he vows to become a repairer of the breach, but instead he is mostly remembered for the scandals committed in office that led to his impeachment. People forget that Clinton made many domestic and foreign policy achievements. For example, Democrats picked up 5 seats in midterm elections. He advocated for international trade agreements that opened markets for U.S. exports. With a program called NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, he was able to lift trade barriers in North America. He provided job protection for those with medical absences, backed up loan programs providing college loans, and improving college enrollment. The most well-known thing about Clinton's presidency, however, is known as the Lewinsky scandal. Monica Lewinsky was an intern at the White House during Clinton's first term in office. He had an affair with Lewinsky during his second term. She confided in a friend and a coworker, Linda Tripp. Tripp secretly recorded their phone calls and later submitted them to a man named Kenneth Starr after Monica Lewinsky signed an affidavit in the Paula Jones case. Clinton denies all of the accusations in the Jones case and, over a recorded conversation, requests that Lewinsky lies under oath. 6 months into the trial, Lewinsky admitted to the scandal, forcing Clinton to also admit to his wrongdoings and televise an apology to America. Although it was a close call, it was not perjury due to Clinton's precise word choice with the meaning of the word is in sexual relations. In December of 1998, Clinton is impeached by the House for perjury and obstruction of justice to hide one of his sexual scandals in the Paula Jones case. Both of the criminal charges for impeachment of Clinton did not get the 2/3 majority vote in the Senate.
Overall, President Bill Clinton left many legacies, both good and bad, as the 42nd President of the United States of America.